I'm Dick Valentine of Electric Six, but I'm also an American author. I'm trying to branch out and be known for something more than just doing music and being an entertainer in that regard. So I have written now three. I'm working on my fourth pornographic thriller book. I have a series of books which feature an LA private detective who finds himself in sexy and filthy situations. I market them primarily to Electric Six fans, but they are available on Amazon Kindle, and I do find that people just searching for general filth and porn have found these books as well. So I am cross-pollinating, micro-targeting, but I'm having a great time with it. I'm learning how to be a better writer, I think, and be a better entertainer through the medium of fiction. And I hope this is a building block for me to become a great American author. Because I'm getting older. And I want to be 75 years old, living in Cape Cod, drinking a lot, writing books, and that's how I want to go out.
Is there any reason you decided to go with pornographic thriller?
Well, I thought that if you had gratuitous pornography, you might attract a different audience, and also I think pornography is funny. Gratuitous pornography is very funny. Just throwing in pornography for pornography's sake. So my character is a fat old white man, and he's subtly racist, homophobic, and that kind of, he's like an angry white man. And then a lot of the books are him getting his just desserts. So generally an entitled angry white man thinks he needs to be in control of the sex, and so he finds out that in all three of my books that he ends up not in control, that the forces work against him, and so at the end of the day you're pointing at him and you're laughing at him, and he's getting everything he deserves because he's a nasty man.
What are the names of your books, just so people know what they're
Sure.
looking for?
The first one was called Chinatown Reach Around. The second one is called Fairfax Facial, and the third one is called Glendale Glory Hole. And I'm currently working on the fourth and final book in, I guess, what would be a quadrilogy at this point, and that will be called Sin City 69, and that'll be coming out in October.
Cool.
Yep.
So where can people find these? They can find them on Amazon and things like that. What type of person do you think should be looking for this to read it? Who would enjoy it?
Well, I think the people who like pornography and people who like thrills, I mean, at the end of the day, there's still, even though there's loads of filth and just sick, depraved things going on, there's also, they're mysteries. And so if you like a good mystery, these books have those elements as well. Also, you look at the last book I did, Glendale Glory Hole, I mean, it's time and space are warped, and the book begins, he's doing a basic stakeout following a cheating husband for his client, and the cheating husband is sticking his dick in the glory hole. And at the very beginning, Bart Duquesne, our hero, is wondering who's possibly on the other end of the glory hole. Well, through space and time warping, you find out that it's actually Bart Duquesne. So the whole book starts with him, wondering who's sucking this guy off, and it turns out to be him. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever you're saying, so it's not all just set in real, like it's not just all fact, like stuff that could actually happen. Like there's.
Yeah, no, it's in a very fictional Los Angeles. I mean, it's vaguely futuristic, but yet trying to maintain that whole like 1950s like film noir LA detective kind of thing. So yeah, you've got elements of like Double Indemnity and Chinatown and stuff, but then it's also clearly in the future. So I'm just trying to warp space and time, make filthy things happen, and also along the way make an entertaining book.
Whenever you say make filthy things happen from your descriptions and the names of the book,
yep,
it's over 18. I imagine these books, they're not.
Oh, totally. I mean, like Fairfax Facial Fur, for example, we learn it's in the second book. I mean, in the first book, Duquesne is just more, it's a more straightforward linear book. But then, the events of Chinatown Reach Around are very traumatic to him. He has a sort of PTSD, and so when he emerges in Fairfax Facial, he's out of the detective business because he doesn't want to go through that again. But what we've learned about him is that he, when he blows his load, it's a massive load, and so that. He's now working as a cum shot stand-in. Like, he's not the actual face or the body in the movie, but when they need the cum shot, like they just go to his load because it's so massive, and that gets him work in the porn industry. And so
is that a real job in the porn industry?
it is in this book. I don't know, but you know, so he's in high demand, and so you know he's got this load that can, you know, completely cover faces when he blows it on them. So then you see, you know, even God is paying attention. That's one of the things you find in the book is that God is looking down on him and marvels at his talent. But he, you know, he blows his load on women in the movies, on homeless guys. So it's he goes through L.A. forced to blow his load sometimes against his will. But yeah, that's what happens in that book, and I hope I've sold it.
Did the book also have a story? Like you're not just it's just.
Oh yeah, and then also aliens control his dick at various points, and so they actually turn his dick into a laser, and he fries a security guard. But that's only when the aliens have control of his dick.
This is only a small bit of what happens in the book. People should still read the book.
Oh yeah, I'm not giving anything away. I mean, yeah, there's so much going on. I mean, every paragraph is a different element. So I mean, yeah, I'm trying to sell it, certainly without giving anything away. Again, Chinatown Reach Around, Fairfax Facial, Glendale Glory Hole, and I also I do audiobook versions, which I sell directly to you using PayPal. I like to just do it without an intermediary. I don't like throwing stuff out on a hosting site. You know, I like to do it myself. Therefore, I can have a conversation with you and find out what you like about the book, and then I'll sell it to you directly. So these audiobooks, I narrate them myself. I do all the voices. I do men, women, you know, everything in between, aliens, and they're 3 hours long. And it's just, you know, I found that people have derived such satisfaction, such inspiration from these books, and I'd like to sell one to you for £6.
We'll have links to all of these underneath this video.
Yeah, Dick Valentine on Facebook. You can. I mean, I check it every 5 minutes. So if you need a book, if you need the reach around action, you can contact me, and I'll get it to you. I'll find a way to get it to you tonight.
Whenever you're saying that you like to converse with the people that read the books, does that influence then how you write the next book?
No, it has nothing to do with the audience. I'm just trying to make the books as entertaining and up the ante of how bizarre and how quote unquote wrong they are every time. And I think I've done that. And I think this fourth book I'm working on is just it's so over the top, ridiculous, and just in bad taste that I think that, you know, I it'll be a good one to go out on. So.
And then have you new plans then for after that? What you're gonna?
Yeah, I've dabbled in maybe toning it down and writing more straightforward fiction. I've sort of started one. I don't really know where it's going, but yeah, I think you know. And that's the thing. I thought I was just gonna do a straight trilogy, and then decided I'm gonna do book 4. So maybe I'll do book 5. I don't know, but I mean, I'm right now one book at a time.
Well, whenever this gets out and more people are buying the books, then there's probably more reason to do a book.
I think so too.
Book
yeah.
5.
Yeah, and yeah.
So buy the book.
Yeah, and I would like to make movies out of all of them, and you know, if I could just turn the Bart Duquesne pornographic thriller series into my life, that's what I would do. If I could, like, you know, make a movie and television show, and then have a theme park about him, that would be something I would like to do.
That would be a terrifying theme park.
It might be, but you know, it's all about selling tickets, and you know, there's plenty of open space out there. I mean, I drive through Ireland, and even America has lots of open space. You can put a theme park anywhere. There's lots of room for it.
So whenever you're writing, do you try to get into a character when you write, or do you just write from yourself?
No, I mean, I try to. One thing I try to do is make the minor characters very entertaining. You know, I've had a lot of fun with police officers, security guards, things like that. Maybe they might even just have one line of dialogue, but I try to make it as, you know, yeah. I look at minor characters as, you know, condiments to, you know, maybe like a, you know, the English mustard that you might put on your, you know, the sausage is the main thing, but you might put a little dab of mustard on it. That might be like, you know, somebody comes and goes. Characters who, you know, 5 minutes and then they're dead. You know, to me, those are some of my favorite characters. And I do a really good job of not drawing on. You know, I never try to use experiences in my life or use, you know, like or, you know, borrow from people I actually know. These are all fictional characters that have nothing to do with anyone I've ever met. So I think I do a good job of not referencing people in my life.
So you don't have a friend that has a laser dick?
Nah, not as far as I know. I don't really talk about that with guys, actually. You know, I never go up to a guy and say, hey, what does your dick do? That's just not something I'm interested in.
I don't think I've ever done that either. I'm not sure that's...
Yeah.
But if someone had a laser dick, I'm sure they would come up to you and let you know that they're...
Oh, believe you me, yeah, people come up to me and tell me about this, that, or the other all the time, whether I want to know or not. But Yeah, that to me, that's my books. You have to pay me to get them. So I always assume that once you give me money, you actually want them. Whereas
Yeah.
in my line of work, I walk through a room and people tell me things I don't want to hear all the time, and no money changes hands. So it's kind of sad.
What would you say to people wanting to be a writer?
Well, again, like any sort of art, the number one thing you do it for yourself, do it because you enjoy it, and do it because, you know, in this case you have a story to tell, and you have something that you're proud of. As far as I know, I have no idea how to get a publishing deal, or that. I mean, but in the age of self-publishing, you can just throw it on
Yeah.
Amazon or whatever, and have a go. You know, have a bash. It's you know. But yeah, write because you enjoy it, and write because you think you have a message. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but yeah, that's for you to decide.
I would say that not to write what you think people are going to read. Write what you think people, what you would read, and then that'll attract a different type of
Yeah.
audience to you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's the same with anything. You know, doing music. You know, obviously, you know, I'm making the music that I like, that makes sense to me, and you know, I've thrown it out there, and you know, I seem to have an audience for it, and yeah, it's the same thing. There's a lot of good music out there, but not all of it makes it, quote unquote makes it, and a lot of shitty music does make it, and I assume it's the same with books. But you know, if writing to me is just easy because you just need you know, a computer, and you just do it, and whether one person reads it or hundreds, you know, it's easy to do, and there's not a lot of you don't need materials, you don't need an investment, you know, so it's I think, you know, it can be therapeutic as well.
Would you have anything to add before we wrap up the interview?
You know, I'm very proud of these books. I'm so excited for the fourth one to come out, and I think you should take a chance on it if you're interested in thrills. Look at it as you know, the pornography again is just kind of window dressing. I think that the actual stories I tell, the character development, and you know, what you're learning. It's a learning experience. You learn about the United States government. You learn about aliens. You learn about God. You learn about relationships, and basically you learn about a man's raison d'être. Well, how do you pronounce that?
It sounds pretty close.
Yeah. That so our Bart Duquesne in every book learns a little bit more about himself, who he is. He's a virulent, not a virulent, but he's a closet racist. He's a closet homophobe, and he gets his just desserts at the end of every book, and he deserves it because he's a piece of shit. So it's worth it.
And where do we find these books?
You can find all the books on Amazon Kindle if you have that. Also, I sell you the audiobook versions directly through my Facebook page via PayPal. I make, if you want to buy the trilogy as opposed to one book, I cut you a deal. I cut you a bundle deal. Get you all three books for a better price than you would if you would have done it the other way. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm an American author.